Hi, I'm Gary. I'm old and I'm retired, which explains the wildly imaginative name for this channel. Sorry about that. But that means I do have time to pursue the things that interest me, like computers or electronics or photography. My aim for this channel is to make videos that contain useful information without either getting caught up in too much technology or in whiz-bang special effects. That approach to YouTube videos is not really my thing. But hopefully they will be interesting, or at least entertaining to those of you who watch them. Although I wouldn't expect miracles in production values just yet. This video actually touches all the bases of most of my interest because it deals with live streaming. And yes, I did ask myself if YouTube really needs another video on live streaming. After all, there are thousands of them out there. And in fact, I've learned a great deal from watching a number of them. But a lot of YouTube videos are essentially, buy this thing or do it this way, and your live streams will be perfect. This is not one of those videos. In fact, I'm going to propose an approach that is pretty much guaranteed to be not perfect. I call it the BBS principle, where BBS stands for beg, borrow, and scrounge. And it's based on spending little or no money and settling for good enough as a result. Why would you do that? The answer lies in the event that provoked me to make this video, which is going to be more of an example of how to do it than a tutorial. Our church recently decided to hold one of its Sunday morning services in a city park using a rented shelter, which, as you can see, is nothing but a roof, a wall, and a few electrical outlets. So anything we needed, we had to bring for ourselves. We've only done this twice in 4 years, so it's pretty much a one-off event, and most of our members show up for it. We normally live stream our services, so we wanted to stream this also, but we didn't want to cannibalize our permanent streaming setup, and it certainly didn't warrant big expenses for just a handful of viewers. I know what you're thinking. You could stream something like this using only a smartphone and do it for absolutely free. Yes, you could, and no, we didn't, because the phone is really pretty limited for what we wanted to include in our live stream. Our services include a lot of congregational a cappella singing, which means everyone sings and there are no musical instruments involved. So we have a song leader, sort of like a choir director, only this isn't a trained choir. That means everyone needs to be able to see and hear the song leader, or any speakers or readers during the service. And everyone needs to be able to see what it is they're supposed to be singing. So for the live event, we brought along a portable PA system with a microphone, and we projected the sheet music using a borrowed digital projector driven by a PowerPoint slideshow on a laptop, a borrowed laptop. You see the theme starting to develop here? That gave us an audio and a video source for the live stream, but that's really only half of it. The streaming viewers also needed to see the song leader and to hear him, or the minister or someone else speaking. And we wanted them to be able to hear the actual group singing rather than just the one guy up front with a microphone. If you've been keeping count, that's 4 total sources, 2 audio and 2 video. Here's where we got them from. The audio of whoever was speaking or leading the singing came from a headphone jack on the portable PA system. For the video of that person, we resorted to an old Canon camcorder that we used to record our services some years ago before we began streaming. It's recent enough that it has an HDMI output and also an external microphone input. There are a lot of these still floating around, and in fact I'm using a very similar Panasonic one to record this video. The audio of the group singing we got from this portable digital audio recorder. Another scrounged item that we use to record our services in pre-streaming years. It has a built-in stereo microphone and a headphone jack. If we hadn't found it, we could have plugged a cheap camcorder mic into the camera or even used its internal mics. The sheet music we extracted from the PowerPoint slideshow going to the digital projector. I'll have more to say about that in a minute. But next comes the big question: how to collect all these inputs and format them into the live stream. We did the obvious thing and used a laptop running the wonderful and free OBS Studio software, which can do this task standing on its head, so to speak. Wait a minute, laptops aren't cheap, you might say. But remember, this is not a permanent setup. We simply borrowed the laptop. For a simple setup like this, it doesn't even have to be a particularly high performance one. Now, you may remember that we're already using a laptop to run our digital projector. Couldn't we do both these tasks with the same laptop? Again, yes, we could, and no, we didn't. Someone has to operate the PowerPoint slides in real time during the singing, and trying to do that and monitor and control a live stream on the same little 15-inch laptop screen is a recipe for disaster. So we use two laptops. Remember, we're borrowing and scrounging, so any old laptop can do PowerPoint. It didn't even really need an HDMI output because the projector we're using is so old. But laptops are limited in their inputs, so we did in fact have to buy a couple of things to get these signals into OBS Studio. Here are the two converters, which are a generic Chinese units I bought from Amazon for a grand total of about $35. This one converts an HDMI video signal from the camcorder, along with its embedded audio from the external mic, to USB, where the laptop sees it as a webcam with a microphone. It only needs a USB 2 input. We aren't doing 4K video here. The second one takes the audio from the portable PA system and converts it into a digital USB audio signal. So now we have 3 of our 4 input sources available on 2 USB inputs for OBS to use. But we still have a 4th source to deal with, namely the sheet music slides from the other laptop. Here comes more free software to our rescue. We use the NDI Tools software package, which includes a screen capture utility that can grab the PowerPoint display and send it over a network to the other computer, where OBS can then use it as a video source. Only one problem: we didn't have a network. Remember, this was taking place in a park with no infrastructure. We also needed internet access to actually send our live stream to, in our case, YouTube. The one other time we did this, we simply used a phone as a Wi-Fi hotspot. It worked sort of okay, but it wouldn't really work here because a phone is not designed to be a network switch. I tried it, and there were large delays in getting the NDI stream between the laptops. Mostly it simply hung and refused to work. So we scrounged another piece of hardware. This is a cellular router, which works exactly like a home Wi-Fi router, except that it uses a SIM card and connects to a cellular network just like a smartphone. This one was actually borrowed from my motorhome, where we use it for internet access when we're camping down in the Arizona desert in the wintertime. Like a lot of home routers, it also happens to include several Ethernet ports. This effectively acts as a network switch and it gave us a 100 megabit per second connection between the two laptops. And NDI tools worked great with that. If the cellular router hadn't been available, I could have bought a cheap network switch for less than $20, but I'm not sure how it could be connected to a phone as a hotspot. If you know, let me know in the comments, because I'd really like to know. The end result of all this beg, borrow, and scrounge was that we were able to put together a live stream setup for use outdoors in a public park for an expenditure of $35, along with scrounging a few cables. Was it professional? No, it wasn't. But it did the job and it worked. Yeah, it was pretty amateurish, but that was mostly because setting it up left no time to optimize the audio or the video, since we did it the morning of the event. And operating this spaghetti network of borrowed hardware as a one-man band left me no hands free to do any real camera work. So the bottom line is, our viewers who couldn't come to the actual service could take part and have a reasonable feeling of being there. There's an old saying attributed to Voltaire that says roughly, "Perfect is the enemy of good enough." It's actually a pretty sound engineering principle, and I recommend it highly in a case like this. That's it for this video. Hope it was of some use, and you're certainly welcome to leave comments or suggestions for either improvements or new topics, and you're welcome to subscribe. Thanks for watching.